So 2018 was our 28th anniversary year. So we decided to make it special. We decided to make a trip to a place we always wanted to go, and that place was
Italy.
as one grows older, I guess you look for more meaning in all of your experiences, and that includes travel as well. We wanted this trip to be more immersive, more thoughtful. We wanted experiences that were more authentic and spontaneous, rather than the usual planned touristy experiences. Which is why we did not plan anything except the flights into and out of the country. Just for our first gelato in Rome. We started our trip of Italy from Rome. Rome Airport, Fiumicino Airport. The moment we walked out of Fiumicino Airport, we felt at home. There was a kind of chaos that most Indians will identify with. Not the kind of chaos that you see in India, but some chaos, and that was comforting. Checked into this very nice apartment in a suburb near the Vatican. It's owned by a lady called Antonella and her husband. Homestays, besides being cheaper, is also an opportunity to get to know the locals better. The hosts often point you to many interesting places, and our hosts were not any different. Because of them, we found a Bangladeshi mom and pop shop that sold Indian groceries. That was godsend for Anisha. She finally decided that she had enough of pasta and pizza and that she wanted to cook Indian food. And there she is. Rome was not built in a day, and neither can it be explored in a day, or for that matter, even a week. We knew that trying to cover too much would be a huge mistake, so except for the must-see ones like the Colosseum and the Spanish Steps, we spent 4 lovely days just wandering the streets of Rome, soaking up the atmosphere. We would start the day with a visit to some prominent landmark and then start walking in a general direction, exploring whatever came our way, be it a fabulously talented street musician or a street painter selling his paintings. And when we needed a break, there's always the ever-present street cafes to enjoy a glass of wine and watch the world go by. The Vatican is truly jaw-dropping in its grandeur, especially the art. For art lovers, it's a treat, but you don't have to be a student of the arts to appreciate the sheer artistry and the creativity involved. The architecture is even grander, especially St. Peter's Basilica and St. Peter's Square. We spent the better part of the day just admiring everything around us.
going back to our apartment from the Vatican. It was a long tour, tiring. You can see Vicky is a little tired. You okay, Vicky?
4 days flew by in Rome, and soon we found ourselves on a train to Castiglione. If you haven't heard about it, it's because it doesn't make it to most tourists' itinerary. A picturesque town on the Tuscany coast, it's built around a castle, and hence its name. My colleague Andrea, who grew up in Castiglione, was spending his summer there, and he insisted that we come and visit him, promising that we'll love it. And love it we did.
Here we are in Tuscany, in Castiglione, on our way to Castiglione. My friend and colleague Andrea has just picked us up from the station, and we are going over to his place. We'll be here for a couple of days, maybe 3. Yeah, that'll be nice. Vicky, you like this place?
Of course, it's beautiful.
Castiglione was a welcome change in pace from the hustle and bustle of Rome. The peace and quiet combined with the Mediterranean weather was just what we needed. Andrea not only showed us around his beloved town, he even took us out on his boat to show us the beautiful Tuscany coastline. In the daytime, we would explore the surrounding countryside, which included the towns of Siena, Massa Marittima and San Galliano. Stunning places which would have never made it on our itinerary had it not been for Andrea. The evenings were equally wonderful, hanging out with his friends over dinner. We had truly become locals of Castiglione.
Cleaning her up for tomorrow?
Yeah, cleaning up. Yeah, I already cleaned up a couple of the iron bits. I cleaned those up, and I cleaned up that side over there. Sorry, the whole. Yeah, so the keys up. Ciao. I got the flags up because.
I heard that's your work.
Yeah. It's a celebratory thing.
Yeah. So you have all the countries.
No, these are alphabetical.
Okay.
Andrea hosted us not only in Castiglione but in Milan too, where he lives with his wife Roberta and the sons Nicolo and Lorenzo. We reached Milan after Venice and spent 2 days at their apartment there.
Yes, very spicy. It's a typical from
South? Like
south.
Sicily?
No, I think Calabria.
Calabria.
Yes, that is.
They showed us around the city and treated us to some amazing Milanese pizzas. Exploring a new place with people who actually live there gives you an entirely different perspective of it. And we were fortunate to have that experience because of the Pacchiarotis. All of them were fans of Indian food, and they were delighted when Mickey offered to cook chicken curry and rice for lunch one of the days. We are about to have lunch. Andrea's place, Indian lunch cooked by Vicky. Even though English is not widely spoken in Italy, it is surprisingly easy to get around the country. It has an extensive railway network, and high-speed trains connect most of the important cities, and tickets can be easily purchased online through an app. Within cities, of course, we used whatever public transport the locals use, be it buses or the metro. Our preferred way to explore any place was, of course, by foot. It provides you with so many opportunities to interact with the local population and get a feel of what their daily lives are like. We drove around quite a bit too. In Castiglione, Andrea offered us his car, and in Florence, we hired one to explore the nearby wine-growing areas.
We are on our way to hire a car now, and we will explore the Chianti area.
For years, I had nurtured a dream of driving around Tuscany in a Fiat 500, and it finally came true in Florence. However, we soon found out that apparently many tourists harbored the same dream, because the countryside was dotted with little Fiat 500s zipping around. Nevertheless, it was a wonderful little car and great fun to drive. Having a car affords you the flexibility of stopping wherever you want, to enjoy a particularly beautiful scenery, and to check out that little vineyard that you chance upon. Or even drive up that beautiful house on a hill to chat with its owners and take pictures. And thanks to Andrea again, we can claim that we even sailed around in a boat. Our train journeys provided us with memorable encounters too, like the young girl studying to be a doctor in Rome, or Maria from the US, who traveled almost every year to Venice to meet her childhood friends. We particularly remember the kind Swiss lady on the train to Switzerland, who offered her window seat to Anisha so that she can enjoy the views of the stunning Swiss mountains. The moment we stepped out of the station in Venice, we felt as if we had stepped into some kind of a big-budget Hollywood movie set. It's that unreal. The city transports you back in time, and you get that feeling of living inside a fairy tale. It's a truly magical city, a city unlike any other, a city that casts a spell on you. Words do not come close to describing it. You have to be there to truly experience the magic, for magic is what it is. It was in Venice that we had one of the most hilarious moments of our trip. As true blue Indians, we carried more luggage than was necessary, and getting to the hotel involved taking a water bus and then a walk through the narrow bylanes of Venice. So when a porter showed up and offered to carry our luggage to the hotel, which as per him involved a fairly long walk, we accepted. What followed was a hilarious rush through the tiny lanes with the porter and his cart barreling down the narrow alleyways, letting out a blood-curdling yell every now and then to get people out of the way. We were in splits by the time we arrived at the hotel. Even today, we crack up watching that video of that rush through the narrow streets of Venice with people jumping out of the way. Word that we were touring Italy got around to our friends Sofia and Kurt in Switzerland, and they insisted that we come over and spend a weekend with them. After all, Switzerland is just across the border from Milan. Once again, our decision not to plan ahead served us well, and we jumped onto a train to Zug in Switzerland.
Just reached station from Milan. It took us about 3.5 hours. Good to see you. So good to see you.
I was always begging to be here. I came. Good.
You got her.
I said, no, not a change. Welcome to
We were now into the third week of our trip, and all that traveling was taking a toll on Anisha. So Sophia's invitation was God sent. It was a home away from home, and those few days with them was just what we needed to catch up on some much needed rest and home food. The added bonus, of course, was Simba and Diamond, Sophia's pets. Switzerland was just like you see in the pictures and movies. Picture perfect. What was supposed to be just a weekend stretched into 4 wonderful days. We explored the cities of Zurich and Lucerne, but we actually fell in love with Zug, the town where Sophia and Kurt lived. But by far, the highlight of this entire trip to Switzerland was the time we spent with Sophia and her family. We will always be grateful to her for inviting us over, as we really needed that break from all that traveling. It recharged us for the last part of our tour, which was Cinque Terre. We just finished exploring Portofino, and now we are waiting for a train to take us to Cinque Terre, which is Cornelia. We'll be staying there for 3 nights, and from there on we'll move to Rome and then back home. This is the last leg of our journey. Cinque Terre is a string of 5 fishing villages perched high on the mountains of the Italian Riviera. In each of these 5 villages, colorful houses and vineyards cling to steep cliffs, and quaint restaurants serve the region's famous seafood. If Venice was about medieval splendor and engineering, Cinque Terre blows you away with its breathtaking views and its quaint rural way of life. Each village is perched on sheer cliffs with heart-stopping views of the Ligurian Sea. They seem to have been left untouched by modernity, at least visually. Behind the villages, the mountains of Cinque Terre National Park rises majestically, and clinging precariously to the slopes are the famous Cinque Terre vineyards. Wine growers have been growing wine here for hundreds of years, and even today, the methods used are just as rudimentary. These mountains are crisscrossed by some amazing hiking trails, and one morning I headed out to explore. What followed was a 5-hour hike through the mountains that presented with me some of the most amazing vistas I have ever come across, and they took my breath away. In the absence of any hotels, homestays are the only option for accommodation. We were lucky to get a home with a stunning view of the mountains as well as the sea in the village of Cornelia. When you're not hiking the mountain trails, you can spend hours walking through the lanes and by-lanes, leisurely exploring these quaint villages. The locals go out of their way to make you feel at home, ready to strike up a conversation and point you in the direction of something important or interesting. Like the baker at the village bakery who informed us about the free flamenco concert at the village square that evening. By the time we made it there, the cafes in the square were all full. But the waitress at the cafe we frequented pulled out a table and some chairs from inside just for us. The wonderful hospitality and kindness of the people, combined with the outstanding food and jaw-dropping views, made Cinque Terre the perfect place to bring down the curtains on our journey through this remarkable country. We went looking for new places, new experiences, new friends. We found all of them and much more. We found that people all over the world hold the same things dear: family, friendship, and love. As beautiful as the places we visited were, it is those human encounters with friends as well as complete strangers that defines the memory of them and makes them so special. We are therefore so very thankful to all the people we met, either by chance or design, for making this trip so memorable.